I don't understand the rise of the extreme right. I said I do not understand how anyone could want this European Union to be weakened or even abolished or to leave it. That was what I really do not understand. And yes, to a certain extent, why one could be a nationalist in these times. I mean, that is true. But apparently, this is somewhat more of a societal and psychological question and answer. I mean, if you look at people like Steve Bannon, or in my country, we also have one like that, because Kulicek is his name, or in I just came back a couple of weeks ago from Argentina. There are these spin doctors behind the extreme right, and if they have a plan, they usually have a very elaborated plan, and they take into account the human psyche and even neuroscience. And there is something very archaic in all of us. They know very well what is the strongest sentiment that humans can have. I don't know if you know what the strongest sentiment of humans is. It's fear, which makes sense. I mean, the saber-toothed tiger is coming and you have to run fast. Fear gives you a lot of adrenaline. Fine. So this is what they address. It always goes to this point, fear. And then it is fear that is, they put people against each other, and that they do by certain attributes, like skin color, religion, gender, sexual orientation. On the one hand, you see that very good in the US at the moment. So if you're a white Christian heterosexual male, you're quite likely to be on the safe side. And what makes this so sexy is you don't have to do anything for it. You can be a really bad person, or a really lazy person, or whatever, but you're still on the good side, because you're white, male, Christian, and heterosexual. And the genius part of it is, on the other hand, you have people of color, women, homosexuals, or trans, or whatever, and Muslims and Jews. So they are on the other side. And the sexy part is they can't get out of that, because whatever they do, they will be female, have a darker color, have a certain religion. I mean, you can change your religion, but and have a certain sexuality. So you're good or bad just by definition. And that is, for those who are in the good seats, very, very appealing. Because there's no way you can even question that, them being good. So that is one part of it. There are a lot of other parts, but all this, I mean, all this ridiculous fixation on sexual identity. I mean, what the hell do I care if someone who I don't even know wants to be a man or a woman, which is not the sexiest way? What on earth does it have to do with my life? Zero. But if you see the extent of effect in your personal life and the political weight that this topic has, it's like this and like this. So there is obviously something in humans that you can, it's not rational.
For what purpose? What is the purpose of this social engineering?
It's you have to divide, and you have to
divide and conquer. Yes.
Yeah, but and then you have to create fear of the others. I mean, evidently people are enormously afraid of transgender people or drag queens or I don't know, or radical feminists. That's people. You have to create fear, And then and a lot of things, I can only be very brief, huh? But the mechanism is to cut this link between who are you actually? Are you really a good person as a leader? Do you really support my interests? I mean, if you look at Donald Trump in the US, he says himself, I could shoot someone innocent, in public, and my voters would still follow me. And it's true. And it's true. So you have to cut this link between what do I actually do? I mean, you have to make this really not about what helps me in my life, what is actually, and this is what these populists manage to do. I mean, it's even the more scandals they have, the more popular they get. You saw it in Poland. You see it in the US. I don't know about this Romanian candidate who had this TikTok thing going on. I don't know if he was one of those, but we have a lot of those examples where you actually would think, now this is enough. And then people go, yes, he's anti-establishment, great, he's different. And you say, okay, he's different. I mean, you can, if you want to have something different, you can just smash this whole continent. That would be different. Is that really what you want, just to be different? And that is what makes it so hard for us to battle it. Because, I mean, my party is 160 years old. We have fought against any sort of dictatorship, and we had a lot in Germany. And for us, this is very bizarre, because you cannot say, look, we are fighting for your rights as workers, as unemployed, as single mom. It doesn't work that way anymore. Because we even delivered the last 3.5 years for them. It just doesn't work like that anymore. And we are not that good on social media, and we have these tech bros. And of course, if you look at the tech bros in the US, it's this kind of country that they want. And what do? In the end? They cut Medicaid, they cut social welfare for the poorest, they cut education, and they give the money that they save there to the billionaires, and everybody knows it. And they still stand behind them. I mean, maybe you can explain what we can do. I would be very happy. Obviously, we haven't found this big. Otherwise, they
This is the problem.
Yes, but we can't use their methods. I mean, I at least, I'm sure Dan too, and I hope my whole party family, we refuse to do disinformation. We refuse to choose scapegoats that are not responsible for our problems. It's not who we are, and it's not who I want to